Yeah.
Oh, weird. Okay. Welcome to ThunderNerds. I'm Brian Enzik.
I'm Sarah Vestall.
And I'm Frederick Philip von Weiss, and thank you so much for consuming the ThunderNerds, a conversation with the people behind the technology that love what they do.
And do tech good.
Yeah. And today we are at Devfest Florida 2019, right?
Yeah, man. In Orlando at the
Oviedo Mall.
Yeah. We're so happy to be here. We're speaking with a lot of the presenters. And speaking with the presenters, we have Zach Sais, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Welcome to the show. Really appreciate you. Thank you. Yeah. Yeah. So Zach, tell our audience a little bit about you. What do you do?
Sure. Yeah. So I'm a customer engineer for Google Cloud. So basically means I work with enterprises looking to adopt Google Cloud services in their business.
Oh, interesting. Okay, so what does that look like? Like, what for people going? Okay, what did you mean by that? What do you actually do, like on a day-to-day with that?
Yeah, sure. So I'm usually working with clients based on per region. So I'm out of Austin, Texas.
Mm-hmm.
So I work with clients out there that are, they have questions about Google Cloud services. Either they don't understand how to use the product, or they'd like some more information. And I kind of come in and kind of show them in the, in a pre-sales role, what this technology could do for them.
Interesting. Okay, like what would be a scenario? Like I came to you, I'm a small business, and I'm like,
Yeah.
hey, how do I use this?
Sure.
What's that look like?
Yeah, so say you were looking to modernize your application development stack, and you said, hey, I heard about Kubernetes, and everyone's talking about Kubernetes.
Everyone is.
Everyone is, right? Yeah. So I mean, so what could that do for my business, and how could Google Cloud help me in that journey? And so I would walk them through, well, this is what Google Kubernetes engine looks like, right? GKE, this is how you could modernize your app observability using Istio and service mesh, things like that.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Why is it called Kubernetes? Like, what do you know what it means?
I've heard the story so many times, and I always blank on the true meaning of it.
I have to look it up afterwards. I have to Google it.
Ah!
Well, you're welcome.
Terrible. Oh, so I'm sorry. I just was trying to recover from such a terrible joke. So what you're talking about today?
So my talk about talking about securing sensitive data in Google Cloud and just about anywhere, so using the Google Cloud DLP or data loss prevention API.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. So is that is this like intended for beginners, or should you already be familiar with this before you attend this talk?
Yeah, no, so I'll start off, it's a very introductory talk. Okay. So I'll start off with the motivations for, why should we care about sensitive data and where it lives, right? What is this tool, the DLP tool that I'll be talking about, kind of how do you use it in your environment, and then go from there. Just showcasing like the best practices for if you were to secure data, what would that look like?
Okay, what's some of the scenarios like with that? Like, when do I need to care about this?
Yep. Yeah. So basically, anytime you have sensitive information, so think about the last website or mobile app you've used, right? So it's probably a social media website or maybe a banking website, and they have a lot of data about you and about other clients, right? So they need to be able to secure that data somehow, so that in the case of say a bad actor were to get inside their network, they wouldn't be able to have immediate access to that data, meaning that it's either obfuscated or masked or redacted in some shape or form.
Oh, I see. Okay, gotcha. So how does it actually do that?
Yeah. So it's using so the DLP tool has essentially 3 pillars to it. So the initial pillar is just understanding where that sensitive data lives, right? So being able to classify it in understanding that you have people's names or addresses or phone numbers or social security numbers. And this isn't just specific to the US, it's there's over 100 plus identifiers across the world that we have already pre-built, and it's using a set of machine learning models as well as regex patterns. And so then you can fine tune those and bring your own dictionaries or your own regex patterns to kind of build on our models as well.
And how long have you been developing this talk? Is this something that you've been working on for a while? I'd kind of like to hear a little bit of background on the talk.
Yeah, sure. So my background is an app dev, so mostly on the Kubernetes side, working with Go. So You might ask, what are you doing talking about sensitive data? Like, why do you care about that? Well, I've been able to work with enterprises, like I mentioned, starting in this role, and just understanding that there's so much importance to securing that data. Just not just being able to lock it down from a securing it in a private cloud or a public cloud, using some sort of hashing techniques, but you really have to understand where that data lives. And so I've been working on this talk, I guess over several months now. I published a blog back in April about creating a dashboard for this sort of work. So it's been in the works for a while.
Wow. Were you making tweaks this morning?
Oh yeah. Still making the last minute edits and seeing what the other presenters are talking about. I'm like, oh, that might be interesting to talk about too.
Nice.
Yeah.
Are there any talks that you're interested in that you've gone to today that you share?
Yeah. So early in the morning, there's another Google colleague that was talking about Knative. Basically being able to run serverless applications on Kubernetes, right?
Kubernetes.
Exactly. Kubernetes is
so much of that word.
Yeah.
It's a cool word too.
It is kind of a cool word, yeah.
Yeah. So that talk was pretty great, because I've always played with Knative. I never really understood the underlying pieces, and so that was an interesting talk.
Yeah, the Flutter one is Angular to Flutter.
Oh yeah,
That's cool. Yeah.
I haven't done too much UI work. I probably should start looking at that a little more.
And combine it with Kubernetes.
Exactly. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. I have nothing. Frederick keeps looking at me like I have some amazing thing to say. I have nothing.
That was amazing what you just said.
That was bravo. So what did you actually do your presentation in? Are you Google Slides or?
Yeah, so a combination of slides and also just going to run through the DLP console in Google Cloud, and then walking through some live use cases.
Live?
Oh yeah.
Oh, good luck.
Yeah. Yeah, some live demos. So you will pray that the demo gods are on our side today.
Nice, that's really cool. Okay.
Yeah. See, everyone always is worried about it, something happening and not working, but all the audience, they just find it funny if it doesn't work. They're not angry. No one cares.
Right. Yeah.
So yeah.
That's uplifting. No one cares.
No one cares.
You're all
Exactly.
there and no one
Yeah,
cares.
That was like, come on. That was a
Whistling
positive.
words.
Right.
I mean, no one cares if something like that happens.
No,
they're not
they
gonna
don't.
they're not
As a
gonna
speaker,
boo you
you
off
always,
stage.
Oh right.
Freak
Right.
yourself out over the little things and no one notices.
That would
Exactly.
be very interesting to see that you get booed off stage for your demo not working. Like the Wi-Fi doesn't work.
Okay, we'll see if we can organize that.
Yeah, right.
See, what you got to do is you got to work it into your demo to where it's supposed to break,
Right.
and
Right.
make the joke into that, and then
Yeah.
actually here's
Yeah.
That'd be an interesting talk. Yeah, someone who deliberately has it fail. And
Yeah.
then how to continue a presentation with it failing.
oh
the
I do
yeah
that in teaching though. When I teach, I purposely fail because I think people learn.
True
It's
that.
better to teach people what terrible things are going to happen and how to not panic,
Yes.
Right.
rather than hey, this is the happy path. Good luck.
Right.
yeah not run out of the room.
Exactly.
That's cool. So what are maybe one or two of the really important valuable lessons that you want people to get out of this?
Yeah. Number one. No.
A.
Yeah. A. Subsection A. So just understanding where your sensitive data lives, right? You can't take any action on it unless you understand where it is, and then two, just understanding the avenues of being able to secure that data, right? Of course, you can lock it down to a specific bucket if it's in the cloud, right? But also being able to redact that info if, say, you don't need it to live out there in the wild.
What do you mean by redacts? What are you
Yeah.
programming? In a programming sense, what are you doing? I mean, obviously, you're not black marker over it. It doesn't work. But
well, actually, that's part of that's part of the tool. So being able to redact images, for example. So say someone in a real live use case. Say you're on the phone with a bank and you can't get access to your account, and they say okay, well, we're gonna need some information, and then you just wholeheartedly just like, oh, let me just screenshot some driver's license pics. Let me send you like a credit card number. Like, do you need all this? And they're like, no, like we don't need that. Well, what you could do is instead take a look at the DLP API, and then we use OCR to be able to redact in place in that image.
Interesting.
Over those types. So we can pick up on types like some, driver's license number, name, addresses, phone numbers. So that is kind of one part of literally like you're blocking out the text.
Black marker.
Yep, exactly. And then other types of redaction would be like say databases, for example. You could redact in place, so you can either mask, so replace all the characters in a phone number with like stars or like asterisks, right?
Okay.
Or you can do some kind of format. What's it called? Format. Basically, you keep the format of the encryption. So, like, say it's a phone number, you give it some random string, and then it'll still look like a phone number, it just won't be.
Yeah, it'll be mine.
It won't be yours. Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So Zach, what do you do besides this? What do you do for fun? What's your way to avoid burnout?
That's a great question. So I'm on the road fairly often, as you can imagine, traveling to different customer sites.
Sure.
And so I'm always on the lookout for new restaurants, or I really love secret bars, so speakeasies in the towns that I visit.
Yeah.
So I have a few on the map in Orlando that I would love to check out later tonight. But yeah, that's kind of how I keep up. And I play golf too, but that's kind of boring.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, if that's what you enjoy,
Please tell me it's miniature golf, not like real golf.
I play miniature golf.
Yeah.
What's your handicap?
I haven't taken it in a while. Back in my heyday, I could shoot like in the low 80s or something like that. So,
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's just a fun time. Just gets to de-stress.
Yeah, well, it's another way to get away from a screen.
Right, exactly.
And be outside in nature and just kind of enjoy that.
Exactly. And then you get to shout at your ball when you hit like a terrible tee shot.
Yeah.
You get to release something.
Yeah, exactly. You have to hit something really hard. Yeah.
Exactly.
Have you seen the Robin Williams skit on the inventor of golf?
Oh, yeah. Oh, classic.
Google it and check it out.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. So
Another
funny.
Google drop.
There you go.
Yeah, it's hilarious.
Yeah.
I'm gonna check that out.
Well, how can people find out more about you? Where should they go? Website, Twitter, what you got?
LinkedIn, Twitter also. Yeah, I'd say those two. Zach Sais. It's pretty.
Okay, yeah, and we'll obviously add some of that in the show notes. Well,
Okay.
Zach, thank you so much.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, really
Yeah,
appreciate
good luck,
joining
good
us.
luck in your talk later.
Thank you.
How am
Yeah.
I gonna shake hands
Yep,
too?
you do.
Yeah.
No, like shaking
No,
hands.
it's like just a germ spreader, man. Like I don't know where his hand has been. Well, actually, I do. I've seen where it just went.
Let's shoot.
This is sick.
Wow, that was weird.
Yeah, right.
See you, everybody. Take care.